year and a half now, because again, we are starting to see the everything on chain moment. We are starting to see everything moving on chain in a large way. And I don't care about anyone saying, oh, well, it's just taking so long. Well, guess what? In the last 30 days, we have the total RWAs on chain value up almost 10%. And if we're looking at the step function from just the beginning of the year to where we're at now, we are starting to see almost a double value push. And guess what? We're not even 9 months in yet. But also, when we look at the actual value on public networks, that's almost $16 billion. That's a 10.62% jump in the last 30 days. Guys, on the 1st of this year, we were at around $6 billion. We have added almost $9+ billion to the total RWA value on public networks. And yes, the XRP ledger has been growing substantially over the last 30 days, up 21.45%, $325 million. Stablecoin market cap up 54% in the last 30 days, 210 million. We now have 4 stablecoins tied to the XRP ledger. RLUSD is one of them. On top of that, we also have USDC, you have EuroP, and then also BBRL is now starting to get tracked as well. This is very bullish to see. But we're now starting to see even more growth around certain things of value tokenized, like T-bills and even OUSG. But this is just the beginning on some of these networks. We are starting to see a small drop of water in the bucket. On top of that, we just got a big update from Coinbase. Because just like I said, the everything moment. Coinbase, everything exchange is loading. We can see this video, right? We have the update in progress, updating exchange. Here we have initiating asset layer, generating derivatives, unifying spot futures, perps, and options, tokenizing equities. This is where we start to see everything on chain tokenized. Now, the original video of this was posted on July 31st, and we're building the everything exchange. Millions of assets, derivatives, tokenized equities, and a lot more all in one place. This is huge. And on top of that, we did hear from the co-founder and CEO at Coinbase when they did post this video, and he said, Coinbase is becoming the everything exchange. All assets will inevitably move on chain. So we want to have everything you want to trade in one place. Incoming DEX integration, access millions of assets plus expansion of our derivatives offerings. Next, tokenized equities plus more. Now, you guys know me. We have been talking about derivatives. If you are in the XRP ecosystem, if you hold XRP, if you have been following XRP for quite some time, then you know about derivatives, because derivatives have always been the main focus. It's been the main goal. Why? Well, it's because of the value tied to derivatives. We're not talking trillions. We're talking quadrillions of dollars. And I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people because you can't fathom how much money is out there in the world. But yes, there's quadrillions of dollars floating around in the world. And Ripple, on their old website, did have this included. We have beyond payments. This same model of using Ripple and XRP can free billions of dollars currently trapped in collateral accounts or absorbed as costs in any other financial market, from repo to derivatives. This is the OG view from XRP holders because, again, we have always been locked in on derivatives. We have over here. This goes back to December of last year. Tap into advanced derivatives on the XRP Ledger EVM sidechain. It's time to wake up and smell the DeFi and the XRP ecosystem. Now pair this with the new native oracles on the ledger. Shout out to Andrew for this video clip, but check this out. This is Jazzy Cooper from Ripple telling us about what's hitting the XRP ledger and what's been happening to support derivatives on the XRP ledger.
Trading and value transfer is definitely a sweet spot there. But when it comes to more complex operations or highly specific, financial protocols, that's not the sweet spot. And the XRP Ledger community doesn't necessarily want it to be. So that's where we can really lean on our Axelar partnership, use general message passing, and actually allow applications to develop their tokenization engine on XRPL mainnet, their trading engine on XRPL mainnet, and then tap into advanced derivatives and other capabilities on the EVM sidechain. And those users never actually have to move their wallet or interact with the sidechain itself. So it's a very seamless experience and really allows for the best of both worlds, and is made possible by Axelar and trading and value.
And yeah, a lot of the ecosystem around the XRP Ledger EVM sidechain really did enable so much more to hit the XRP Ledger and so many new use cases. Then we combine this with all of the acquisitions that Ripple has been making, and you can start to see the big picture forming. They are still going after derivatives. It is still a big focus. However, it takes a little bit to get to that point because, again, we're not talking billions, we're not talking trillions, we're talking quadrillions of dollars. Now we have over here, and this is from Subjective Views, big shout out to Subjective Views, because right around the same exact time we saw this video posted. And this is from Clearbank, a potential Ripple partner who banks Coinbase, Kraken FX, and Crypto.com, says $2.2 quadrillion worth of equities, bonds, real estate, and derivatives will be tokenized. They're also not the only person that said this. The CEO of Archix, Graham Rodford, also said this. We've been hearing it from even the World Economic Forum, the BIS. So many big players have been telling us this, but check this out.
My name's Johnny Fry. I work for a company called Clearbank. How many of you heard of Clearbank out of interest? A bit of market research. Blimey, it's getting better. The PR's obviously working. Clearbank, rather unusual, they're the first bank in 250 years to be granted clearing bank status. And having built effectively a fintech infrastructure provider, we now find ourselves at an interesting juncture that our clients have only got about 270, ranging from very large global credit card companies down to small sort of fintech businesses. Unlike many clearing banks, we're not frightened of crypto. We actually bank Coinbase, Kraken, and Crypto.com because they're all regulated in some shape or form, and therefore we are happy to engage very much with the tokener space. Having said that, we always like to bear in mind that the crypto market is a couple of trillion, and I know many of you heard me say this loads of times before, but the real world of equities, bonds, real estate, and the big daddy is derivatives, which I know Richard Barker at the back of the room will no doubt talk about during the day. It's 2.2 quadrillion, and we think that a big chunk of that 2.2 quadrillion over time will get digitized, tokenized, and therefore we would disagree with Gartner's. We think that we're actually an inflection point, not a trough of disillusion.
What do you plan to do over the, say, next 30, 60, 90 days to define a plan for your new path?
A lot of work to be done. Locking up banking partners, critical, and also just other service providers in the industry. You really can't go it alone, and we try to stick to our lane. And obviously, we're going to seek approval to issue a stable coin. We're going to do that on the XRPL ledger in addition to Ethereum. So excited about that. Locking up banking partners, critical.
So there was a little bit of a hand gesture towards Emma Hagen from Clearbank saying locking up banking partners. And again, this is from a, major Ripple employee, Jack McDonald, SVP of stablecoins. So it kind of signaled that, hey, this is going to be probably a Ripple partner at some point in time. But what's crazy about this is going back to, again, right around the same exact time that Jazzy Cooper was telling us about derivatives on the XRP ledger. But also, don't forget that Robinhood acquisition, right? Robinhood acquired Bitstamp. It was announced this year. Robinhood also is talking about tokenization in a big way. The XRP ledger was set to boost Bitstamps' new derivatives exchange. Yeah, they wanted to build out a derivatives exchange on the XRP ledger. I'm curious to see what Robinhood does with this because, again, it was confirmed. It was already confirmed prior, and we haven't yet to see, like, we didn't get any major update from this, but Robinhood could definitely announce something regarding this. Because again, Vlad Tenev, the CEO and co-founder of Robinhood, has been putting out posts regarding tokenization. In fact, he's going to be in Singapore in October talking about tokenization. This is with Token 2049. This is exploring how crypto could provide the infrastructure for the global financial system. This is all through tokenization, moving everything on chain. We also have, from Vlad Tenev, we're playing the long game. Tokenization isn't a trend. I believe it's the foundation of what's next. This was on Forbes, crypto's second revolution. And last but not least, this is leading us to believe that if we're going to see $2.2 quadrillion moving on chain, if crypto is becoming a crucial piece of this new financial system, think about what value some of these projects could have. We've talked about XRP on multiple occasions, right? People still think that XRP can't be worth $1 trillion in market cap or $2 trillion in market cap. And don't even get us started when we're talking about like $3+ trillion in market cap, because there's no way. That market cap's way too high, right? We just went over $2.2 quadrillion being tokenized. It's the everything moment. Everything will move on chain. If we're thinking about that, we go to this video. This got posted by RizXRP, and this is something that I've always said before, right? Why are we comparing technology to stocks? Why are we putting a market cap valuation on technology? Why are we limiting the value of this technology by market cap? It makes absolutely no sense. Check this out.
I was just going to go back to the mistakes, and you guys, I would be interested in y'all's opinion on this. I think market cap, people look at market cap and they go, oh, you can't have, trillions of dollars in market cap in these networks. I think people are going to be very surprised by what the market cap some of these networks go to, because they're used to looking at it like a stock, where all of those shares are traded. But circulating supply and available supply, or total supply of a token, are very different.
Right.
I'm excited to see some of the market caps of these digital assets far surpass, these trillion-dollar companies that you're used to seeing on the stock market.
Well, that's a good point. I keep telling people that it's the first time in history where the technology is also the asset, and that's where it gets hard, because like you're mentioning, total value locked. It's, if we were to say, X asset manager, manages trillions, no one blinks an eye, these networks can essentially do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're bang on.
And this is something that I've always said, right? Even going back to my earlier videos on this channel where I was talking about very high priced XRP, prices, I've always said that market cap is not a viable thing to decide how high some of these projects can go. Because again, we are looking at it from just a market cap perspective. We're not thinking about how much value will be moving on chain. TVL just alone should give us a little bit of an insight on how valuable some of these projects can go, but the main thing here is that TVL alone won't cause the price to go crazy. What we will see is assets moving on chain, value moving on chain, then being traded 24/7, 365, being locked up in liquidity pools, tapped into DeFi, borrowing and lending. I mean, we are literally witnessing a completely new financial system that's going to be worth hundreds of trillions, maybe even quadrillions, right? Because we have $2.2 quadrillion that will be tokenized over time. This is becoming a reality. This is a new financial system in the making. How can we put a market cap value on that? It's impossible. This is why it's ridiculous. This is why it's so stupid to value these things and limit them just by market cap. This proves that XRP will be much more valuable over time. This proves that $2.2 quadrillion is going to shift this entire market and the perspective that everyone had in a completely different way. This is why most of the people